It is less than a week away from one of the most significant events for cryptocurrency and even for traditional finance. And I would want to take this opportunity to address you all. At this point, we have just emerged from a significant correction in the markets. To what extent was it significant? No, not really. Some of these older coins had a decline of between 10 and 15% today, which in a technical sense might be considered a significant amount of money for some individuals. On the other hand, if we consider previous cycles, we have discussed this topic. In fact, I just finished up a live stream earlier today in which I was discussing how, in the year 2021, we saw the value of ancient coins decline by 30, 40, and 50% before they climbed to new all-time highs. Consequently, I am not really concerned about the way the market has been reacting over the course of the past several days to any degree. Before we get that big impulsive move, this is normally just a lovely little reset in the market, a nice little correction. I mean, this is typically just a nice little reset. Now, in this video, and I am aware that it may sound like I am repeating myself, but in this video, I really want to address the reasons why we are about to witness one of the largest rallies that cryptocurrency has ever seen for this cycle, as well as for the entire history of the cryptocurrency market. And once more, I am aware that you guys are probably sick of hearing about that because you are more interested in seeing the money. And hey, listen, I am right there with you. Do you agree to show me the money? However, you should be aware that what we have in front of us encompasses each and every important indicator that explains why we ought to be bullish at this exact moment. In any case, let's talk about a few things, shall we? First, let's have a look at the price activity since, once more, despite the fact that we experienced a nice little sell-off today, Bitcoin and Ethereum scarcely moved at all. In fact, they barely moved at all. Listen, on a daily basis, Ethereum experienced a decline of between 3 to 5%. But the majority of older coins did experience a significant decline. Because it's not only XRP, I should state that it's the oldest coinage in existence altogether. If we were to take a closer look at the daily, we would notice that there are in fact values that are in the double digits decreasing across the board. And this is due to the fact that, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum were becoming increasingly dominant. This meant that any kind of movement on either Bitcoin or Ethereum would immediately generate an exaggerated movement on older coins, since we are essentially simply following them. The good news, however, is that what do you think? Today we focused on Ethereum rather than Bitcoin because we are currently in the second phase of the entire season. However, apart from all of this, if we take a quick look at the charts of the coin market cap, we can see that it was successful. In fact, the market did have a pleasant reset of sorts. When it comes to greed, we have dropped from 70 to approximately 67. There is a possibility that we require a little bit more discomfort in order to achieve a little bit of a reduction. When it comes to it, however, I'm not very bothered about it. My opinion is that there is no need for us to experience any huge, large drawdown. If we were to merely chop here, we would be able to find that fear and greed have been reset. To get over this adjustment as quickly as possible, however, is something I would like to do. As I mentioned before, practically every single pullback that occurs from this point forward will be rather superficial and will only last for a short period of time. Also, investors should remember that this retreat has been rather shallow up to this point. I am aware that a great number of individuals will argue that there is no way that this was a shallow retreat because some of these older coins, such as XRP, actually have them open over here at this very moment. From a high of approximately $3.65 to a low of approximately $3.07, the value of XRP experienced a significant decline. In addition to that, a great number of people are liking what exactly is going on here. You are correct. This is a crash. However, this is truly just a beautiful little decrease, and it is also a great little adjustment as well. Our daily loss is approximately 8.3% at this point. There's nothing out of the ordinary. On the 7th day, we are still 1 month away from reaching our goal. Even now, we are up more than 50%. And over the course of the past year, we have seen an increase of more than 430-some%. This is nothing in comparison to some of the other pullbacks that we have already seen this year. So and if we zoom out even further, we can see that there were pullbacks that occurred prior to some of the most significant increases in the market, even as far back as 2017, 2018, 2020, and 2021. Just to provide a point of reference, even Stellar is the same manner. Would you agree? During our ascent to the peaks, we have had some setbacks. To be fair, I do imply that some of these older coins have decreased rather than increased over the past week. The price of XLM has really decreased by around 4.82%. That being said, we are still up more than 70% on the 1 month. So as I mentioned earlier, in every single case, what a wonderful little reset that is. You are aware that the general sentiment has been very bullish, but you are also aware that this is precisely what needs to take place in order for us to truly go higher. have faith in it or not. When it comes to liquidity, I am aware that a lot of people do not grasp it, and that is just fine. In my opinion, it is really important for everyone to begin to acquire a deeper understanding of the market. Many of you have done so. And, once more, it is wonderful because if you are going to be a part of this market, if you are going to be an investor, I believe that this is something that you do. It is highly recommended that you acquire as much information as you possibly can regarding the functioning of liquidity, the movements that occur in the market, and other phenomena of a similar nature. No, us having this, sell off across the board for XRP, XLM, SUI, even HBAR, all of these old coins fell off today. The entire market did, not just, XRP, HBAR, all of them. This move actually made it possible for us to sweep liquidity, which in turn makes it possible for us to climb further higher in the future. Consequently, I will be keeping a close eye on how people react over the following 24 to 48 hours. Going forward, it's kind of a matter of seeing what occurs. On the other hand, you should know that some of these old coins are providing us with a wonderful chance here and now. And yeah, actually, listen, this is something that you should definitely keep an eye out for because this opportunity might very well be the last major one that you have. This is exactly what ended up happening on all of these old coin charts. We simply hit higher time frame resistance, we rejected off of it, and now we are just kind of ranging around support. When I say major one, I mean just major one before we break over that higher time frame resistance. This is because that is exactly what ended up happening. To a large extent, however, they continue to have a pleasing appearance. I also have a few things that I would want to discuss. First and foremost, when we consider the overall cryptocurrency sector at the moment, you should know that I am really optimistic about it. In no way have I altered the way that I think about things today. I mentioned that July is the time frame to look at for the market to really kind of wake up and for the old season to actually start showing signs of life. This was in the lead up to about April or so. That has been taken care of. With everything being said, what is my forecast for the future? My forecast is that we will most likely have a pleasant month of August. Is that correct? The month of August is not at all chaotic. I really hope that it is going to be a busy month, but I don't think that it is going to be that crazy. Given that we have previously experienced the pleasant need to move, it is possible that we will solidify a little bit. It is possible that we will experience a surge in the price of Bitcoin, which might reach approximately $130,000 before we make a modest reduction. In addition, the months of September, October, and December are going to be exceptionally bullish ones. I'm going to explain the reasons for it in detail. First things first, let's have a look at the reasons why we ought to be quite positive at current times. The stocks. When it comes to this, the Kibasi letter got a big shot. This marks the first time in the history of the S&P 500 that the index has broken levels over 6.3. And sure, this is the current state of the stock market. Now, the crazy part about this is that I want to go back to the last V-wave recovery that we've had on equities, which was back in January all the way into March of 2020. I want to go back to that time period. How about this? It was at this point that we began to sell off items in February of 2020. It was in February of 2025 that we first began selling off. In March, we reached our lowest point. It was at the end of March when the rally first opened, approximately in